On 5 separate occasions, I have got men to lose 20 or more kilograms of body fat and get to the point of having visible, clean-cut abs. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what I do to get them there. I am not going to sit here and tell you to eat in a calorie deficit. I'm not going to sit here and talk you through the training split that we use. I actually think you already know that. And I actually think if you're following a 3, 4, or 5 day split that hits the muscle twice per week, you're eating 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein, and you're in a deficit, and you're doing 20 minutes of cardio daily and 10,000 steps, you're going to be on the right track to get there anyway. That's not what you need here, and that's not where the value really comes in helping men lose that much body fat. If it was as simple as take this plan and go and get the result, everybody would be 10% body fat, yet very few actually are. I don't know what the percentage is, but let's be honest, it's less than it should be, and that is a shame, because I tell you now, you walk around 10% body fat, life is cool. The looks you get are cool. It's like you feel good about yourself, and that's the most important thing. It's nice what other people recommend you as, but it's more how you see yourself. That's the most important factor here. So there are 4 points I've managed to structure this into, and we're going to go off them now and get you that information. So the first thing we did, or I did, was we gave them the belief that they could actually do this. Now think about this. You're 20 plus kilograms of body fat away from being 10%. 30 plus, right? In rough math terms, to get down to 10%, okay? So right now, that's a mammoth of a task. Right now, you look and you are so far away from being able to achieve that it's very hard to read the label of the bottle when you're sat inside it. And that's how most of them felt in that initial stages. So we need to actually give them the belief that they can do this first. Now, how do we do this? The first and the main thing we do within the Gorilla Platoon is we get you to change your character first. That is the most critical point, because again, you right now, 20%, 30% body fat, 20 kilos above, you are not that character. Obviously, you're not that character. You're very overweight. So if you wanted to be and get to 10% body fat, you right now is not capable, or you would be there already. So we must first change completely the character of that individual in order to get them moving. How do we do this? Well, first and foremost, we must create what that character looks and feels like. So, and you can do this as an action step off this video, I want you to create the 2.0 version of you, almost like a manifesto of how this is going to look. You will write out a manifesto paragraph of your name. You will say, and whatever your name is, you'll write that out and say, is a whatever age male that lives in whatever location. He is currently 10% body fat with 6-pack abs. He likes to do resistance training, of which he trains 4 to 5 times a week. His numbers in the gym are this, this, and this. He likes to eat this style of food. In his downtime, he likes to do this, this, and this. And think of what the athlete version of you would do. Think what the 2.0 version of you would do in his downtime. He hangs around with these people. He is, his mindsets are this, his ethos is this, his values are this. And you want to structure all of that out. Because when you've got it written in writing, you then can understand who you need to transcend into. Now, what I also want you to do is, that is your character in a sense, like your internal, who you are. I also want you to sculpt out what you want to look like, so you actually know what you're aiming for. Because if you want the biggest delts in the world, then guess what? You're going to program 20 sets of side delts to actually get you to that goal. But it's very important, because you must understand who you need to become. It's not what you need to do, it's who you need to become along the way that's going to be such a drastic transformation. Anybody can get a 6-pack. Anybody can get in shape. But you must be the character of the person that is capable of getting in shape. If we don't fix your character first, you will start, and there will also be this constant pull to snap back to the old version of you, because that's what's comfortable. That's your identity. If we don't change the identity, it is nigh on impossible that we can change you and how you look. So you must first structure out, who do you need to become off that manifesto that I've just spoken about, because that is now going to give you the belief. Can you become this guy? Yes. Okay, so we've got the North Star, we've written the manifesto. Now in the micro, we must take action on that. What are the day-to-day habits you must fix in order to get to being that person? And it's nice and simple. Your new character would wake up at what time? Write that in there. When he wakes up, he would do what? Have a piss weigh himself is the correct answer, by the way. Then you'll hydrate. Then when you do your steps, because he gets out, he walks. He empties his brain full of any garbage. He makes sure he doesn't go on his phone first thing in the morning, because nothing really good comes from doing that. He will then structure when he's going to train, how he's going to train, what numbers does he need to beat in the gym. Then structure when your meals are, when do you prep those meals to make sure you stay on plan, and most importantly, what time do you go to bed. You write out what needs to be done within a given day and only focus on that 24-hour period, you're going to eventually become that individual. Because do you believe you could execute all of those points? Yes, because prepping a chicken and rice is not hard. Walking 10,000 steps is not hard. Training in the gym, once you understand the concept of like good tempo, full range of motion, arm path, you will be okay. You'll develop that as you go. It's not technically that hard. Or should I say, to understand what to do is not that hard. So we can understand that all of these points they're not that difficult to do. So and the micro, if I said to you, yes or no, can you do all of those things? Yes. And if you could do all those things in one day or for one day, then all that's really stopping you is your ability to do that one day on repeat for, let's say it takes you 20 weeks, 20 times 7, you do the math on that, put it in the comments, don't really put it in the comments below. But that's all you need. You just need that many times of striking on the button of the simple task. It is not hard to get in shape, you know this. And it's not hard to do simple tasks. So really, what's actually stopping you? Nothing. Therefore, you have the belief, because you know you're transcending to that new character version of you. That's the first thing we do. And if we get that right, the result will happen. The next 3 are needed. Absolutely, they're needed, and we'll come on to this. And it kind of goes through the journey of getting there. But that's the first and foremost. Your foundations, if you get that right, you are going to be able to build a very strong house on those level of foundations. The second point we do is we made them change how they live their life to reflect the character. So I kind of stole the chips of that because I get excited in the last point, which means your habits. But you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of extra value on that. So I've said the tactics of what you're going to do within a given day to get there. I've told you specific tactics. He would wake up at this time. He would do this. He would do that. I'm actually going to give you some mental habits that people need to quit. The first thing we made sure they didn't do was ever blame other people. I said, listen, it is not your fault. Do not blame your kids because there is chocolate in the cupboard. They can have that. You can't. It's your responsibility not to eat it. It's not their responsibility to not ask you for the thing. Do not blame it. Do not blame your work. You chose that job. Do not blame your family. You chose to have that family. Everything you did, you chose. Everything is your fault. And if not, it's at least your responsibility to fix this. So the worst thing you can do is outsourcing the blame to other people. That's what we don't want you to do. Because if you do that, you're in no control. You're not going to be able to get to that goal. You're never going to be able to make any proper change. So, what's the point? The next thing, the next habit I want you to change on the day-to-day is erratic thinking. This is where like a random idea will come into your brain and you'll want to change and do something else. Don't do that. You need emotional stillness to get to 20 kilograms. You need to take each day as it comes. Be okay with the time it's going to take to get there. Be okay with dropping 3 kilos and kind of looking worse because you're not as inflamed and it's not being pushed as tight against the skin. But actually you're looking a bit softer, but you are down in weight. Emotional stillness is what's going to get you through the goal. If you have an erratic mind, you change your training split, you change exercise in the training split, you change training completely to high rocks, you start running, you start doing keto diet, carnivore diet, instead of sticking to one version of the truth, you won't get to the goal. Emotional stillness is absolutely critical of achieving the goal. The last thing I make sure they stop is saying yes to everything and everyone. Value yourself first. Respect yourself first enough to say no to people. That way you can control everything you do within a given day. Because if you are at the mercy of other people, you will not get in shape. Because they don't really, it's not that they don't care, they just don't have the empathy to understand your situation and your hardship. They just don't. Because unless they've been through it themselves, in which case, be around those people. If you know someone that has got to 20 kg body fat, hang around with that person. Yeah, be around them because they've done it. They've dropped the fat. They've dropped 20 kilos. Be around that person 100%. As long as they did it in like a healthy way, whatever. But otherwise, the other people are just not going to know this. So they're the 3 things I want you to change in alignment with that new character version of you. The next thing we did, and this goes for like going through the transformation itself, is we managed their brain to stay on the straight line. Throughout this time, it is 20 weeks minimum. Fastest one we did was 16, but the guy was like Chuck Norris who just commanded his body to drop body fat. That image, in fact, the first Gorilla Platoon result we ever did. Absolute wonder of a transformation. Now, what will happen along this period, because it's a lengthy period, you will eventually get distracted from the goal. You may even forget why you set the goal in the first place. There will be opportunities come up, there'll be social things that come up, there'll be travel, there'll be events, like different sporting events that will come up. A lot of things will come up. It's important that we keep you on the straight and narrow and we keep you focused. Because if you can't maintain the focus, you will eventually switch and do something else without achieving the goal. Because in this instance, and the reason you switch is because whatever you're doing is hard, and most importantly, it is boring. And when you get bored and you see something new and it's shiny, you think, let's go and do that. That's more appealing. And actually, this is kind of what I need. This has got a big stagnant. When realistically, all you needed to do was the 24-hour day of tasks, along with the mindset concept we just gave you, and you're going to be able to get to 20 kg. You're going to be able to drop 20 kg. But the hardest part about it is your own brain will find ways to sabotage it. Your own brain will find ways to get to 15% body fat and say you're happy. When you didn't come here for the BMW, you wanted the Rolls Royce. Don't leave empty-handed. Take exactly what you came here for. Set your standards high, set your goals high, and push forward through it. And honestly, I would the best piece of advice, and I don't say this to sound patronizing, is to just turn your brain off and follow that plan. Because then you're going to become that new version of you. If you overthink, and again, kind of going back to the erratic mind, if you critically think and think you know better, you won't get there. But do you know why? Because look at where you are now, and again, not to put you down, but look at where you are now. That's a direct reflection of your brain's thoughts. Your brain got you to add 20 kg of body fat more than it needed to. Your own brain is willing to make your joint structure struggle by loading you up with 20 extra kilograms of body fat. So we can testify that in this instance, it's probably not the smartest thing to do to listen to your own brain. It is the smartest thing to do to look at the athlete version of you that you need to become and simply follow that in alignment until you get there on the straight line. That is critical you do this. I can't stress that enough. And then the last thing we made them do is we made them respect themselves. A lot of people, when they are that out of shape, will not respect themselves. And to be honest, for good reason, because you've obviously got to the point where you're like, fuck it, I'll just eat whatever, or I'm sad, so I'll eat. If you're sad, so you'll eat, so you'll punish yourself because you're sad, so you punish yourself twice, that's not someone that respects themselves. If you can't say no to other people, you're putting them above you because you don't respect yourself. It's very important you walk around this earth with self-respect. Because people will treat you in direct alignment with the level of self-respect you have for yourself. If you are someone that does not stand for any messing, people will not mess with you. Because people don't really want the challenge of messing with you anyway, unless you've done something to really upset them. So, if you respect yourself, other people will too. If you don't respect yourself, other people will not. And other people will take an absolute liberty on you. And you don't deserve that as a man. You deserve to walk around this earth as confident as humanly possible. So you can go and pursue whatever it is that your interests are. You only get one life. It's probably not that long. So you may as well live it in accordance with what you like. Or most importantly, what you are called to do. What you think is important on the world and what you are good at. Put those two things together and go and live like that. But if you live a life of lack of self-respect, how can you ever drive that mission forward from the position that you're in? Again, the foundations would be weak at that point. So honestly, they are the 4 things that we did to get people to drop 20 kilogram plus of body fat and get to the physique that they actually desired. Notice how I didn't speak about the tactics, the calorie deficit, the training split, the cardio, because that stuff is important and it's nice. Yes, fine. Like if you didn't do the work, obviously you're not going to get there. That is the overall disclaimer. But you know what work needs to be done. So that's not the deficit here and why you're still carrying 20 kilograms of body fat. The deficit here is in the 4 points I've just mentioned that we fixed in the individuals to drop off such a big amount of scale weight and completely transform who they are, their character, to then becoming that new version of them. That's what you want to do here, and that's what we do at the Gorilla Platoon. So if you want me to do this for you, then there'll be a link in the description. Watch the video, see if you want to come and join us, and then I'll see you on the inside. Other than that, if you found this video useful, listen to it again while you're out doing your steps or your cardio, and subscribe to the channel, because honestly, I love this sort of stuff. Nothing makes me happier or makes me more called than like 2 o'clock on a Sunday. It's nice outside, but I'd much rather be in here speaking and like delivering good stuff to people that's going to help. So if you found this video useful, like thumbs up in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.